This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Okay, we're here. We're here. Thankfully, someone's driving. Thankfully, it's a super cloudy day, so it's still hot. I'm still melting, but it's not nearly as bad as it would be with the sun out. But we're here. I'm excited. I'm actually genuinely so excited to go back to the museum, see some of my favorite pieces that have been haunting me since I came here last time. I'm so excited to show you guys. Hi friends, my name is Al, Lilstarnerd. Welcome to a new video. Before we get started, I'm gonna thank my patrons. Your names are on screen. Thank you so much for your support. You're awesome. If you haven't checked out my Patreon yet, please go do so. We have fun, exclusive stuff there every month, including a postcard, a sticker, a podcast, a video, and more. So go check it out. Thank you so much for your support. Today's video is another episode in my Exploring Creativity series. And this time I want to focus on my interest in Western, cowboy-themed art. And to do that, we're going to go to the James Museum of Western and Wildlife Art in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. I have actually been to this museum before and I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with a lot of the pieces there and it's been haunting me ever since. I have been into, cowboy-themed, Western-themed art for a long time, but it wasn't until I visited the James Museum that I thought that this would be a topic that I could make art about and that I was interested in exploring further. So it seems fitting to come back to here to see if that's true. It has permeated certainly American media for a really long time, definitely since I've been growing up. I've seen it in media, and as I was getting older and I learned about the true history, I only grew to appreciate it more. The landscapes and scenery, the culture, the history, the people, the outfits, the lifestyle, everything about it I find genuinely so interesting. But in all honesty, I know very little about it. And I certainly have never been there. And I'm not about to drop a couple $100s on a plane ticket just to go see if maybe I want to make some paintings. So we're going to do the next best thing, and that is seeing what other artists have done with that same landscape. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series yet, there is a purpose to them. I want to create some sort of body of work, some sort of series, and I don't know what I want to do with it yet, but something professional level, put it in a gallery, put it in, do a show with it, something along those lines. And I really, it's a personal goal that I have, but I realized I have no clue what I even want to make art about. And so this is kind of this whole series so far. The videos have all been about the first step, which is figuring out, following that spark of creativity, seeing where it takes me. So for example, I really like fish, so I went to an aquarium and I determined that there was still something missing within the art project itself. And so, I'm still looking. I'm still looking for what is going to be worth it. And that's what this is. I'm really into Western art. I find it really fun and really inspiring. And so while that's not a solid idea for a series within itself, that's not really enough to go off of, I want to do my due diligence and I'm gonna, do some artistic research and see if there is something there for me. Of course, I have been to this museum before, so it's not totally new, but I am going in with an entirely different purpose in mind. So I think it's going to be a very fun and different experience, and I'm excited to take you with me. Look at these brush strokes. I love the variation in colors, down there. You can tell it's flat color with stuff on top. This looks like borderline pointillism. If you look up close, you can see every little dot. Do you see all the variation and dot, 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 dot.
dot, dot, dot. Like, that's crazy. Beautiful, certainly not my style, not my favorite. Love the color palette though. It's actually insane. Like, look at all that. That's actually crazy. Like, that's disgustingly intricate. Like, that's insane. Look at just the detail on the bark of the trees. Oh my God. Look at the detail there. I am not a fan of landscapes normally. Like, I like them, but not that much. But like this, like Western landscape is literally just undeniably gorgeous. Like, it sways me 100%.
Let's take a break really fast, and we're going to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a website platform that allows freelancers, creatives, business owners, entrepreneurs, etc., to stand out, make great websites online. They really allow you to represent yourself professionally, no matter what you're doing. If you need a portfolio, a shop, memberships, a resume, like whatever it is you're trying to do, you want to look cool while you're doing it, Squarespace is for you. They have everything you need to get started and succeed, including a bunch of templates to choose from. Instead of having to start fully from scratch, you can pick a template. There are so many to pick from with all sorts of use cases in mind. So no matter what you're doing, you can find whatever you're going to need. But of course, we don't all want to have the same exact looking website, and you don't have to, because you can fully customize it to fit your unique needs. And you can make it look really cool and fun to reflect your business, your personality, whatever it needs to do. And you can customize it using Fluid Engine, which is a next generation design software built right into Squarespace. And it functions as a drag and drop, so it's super easy to use. You can take all these different elements, put them onto your website, photos, galleries, animations, text boxes, form submissions, titles, headers, all that kind of stuff, and click it, drag it around, place it wherever you want it. So it's super easy to design. And you can fully customize it for mobile and desktop, so no matter what, it's gonna look great. Like I said, you can use it for anything you need, including a shop. Squarespace is ready to fully support your online shop, whether you're selling digital, physical goods, services, whatever, they've got your back. They have everything you need to get started selling online. I think it's really cool that they also work as a POS, point of sale system. You just have to hook up a Square Reader to your Squarespace app, and then boom, you have like synchronized customer info, inventory, order info, all that stuff. Squarespace makes it really easy to stand out online, to represent yourself professionally, to do what you need to do. If that sounds good to you, if you want to step up your website game, if you want to start your website, whatever it may be, you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Lilstarnerd for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I really can't recommend Squarespace enough. Go check it out. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring. Now, let's get back into exploring this creativity. Let's go.
This is, I can already see some of my favorite paintings. I love these paintings. This is one of my favorite paintings. I saw it here when I was here last time. The color palette, the expressions, the painterly brushstrokes. I love the realism. It's giving classical, but it also definitely has that twist, that Western twist. I love the cool shadows, the contrast of warm and light, which is very typical, I feel. And I love that there are people in it, and there's like a story being told. I love it. Hi.
If you're going to draw, we gotta come and look.
I don't mind at all. I'm just doing a little sketch. I'm trying to do some studies, figure out what I want to paint. There's also, I've noticed like a motif of fireplaces, and I love the warm light that it casts. Everyone knows, warm light, cool shadow, best combo. And I've definitely seen this as a trend. Like that, the profile being cast. What I don't love about that one is it's a little bit less realistic, a little bit more painterly and abstract. Like the movement of the brushstrokes is not my favorite. So good. See, even this is like a little less detailed, but I love the people in it. I feel like I connect more with paintings with people as much as I love the Western landscapes. Like when you look at it, it really is so like painterly and like loose, which normally isn't something that I like, but because it has this contrast of all of this like clutter here with the people, I'm really drawn to it. I really like the way that looks. It looks kind of like a Saturday Evening Post cover. I love seeing the lines. The realism on this is insane. It's so small and so detailed, and the colors are so precise. Look at that face. Look at that cast light there, the reflected light, and on the bottom of the finger. I love the colors, the vibrancy of the colors. I've also noticed, I don't know if it's really in this one, but I feel like a lot of these paintings there's a huge, like here's a good example, there's a huge difference between, there's often a lit background and a darker foreground, but there's a huge emphasis on light and dark, shadow, and like here's another great example. We have like the shadow over here. That seems to be a huge thing that I am loving. I love the dramatic lighting and the contrast and the vibrancy. Look at that pop of red and this green. That's like a different color palette because it's so orangey and bluey, but that red is so cool. Look at that yellow back there. The red, the red, the reds, red, red, red. The hint of it in the trees. That is so cool. This one, Tidbits by William R. Lee, I'm obsessed with. I love the vibrancy. I love the storytelling. There's a lot of realism. It's a little bit cartoony, like in his face. It's kind of like Norman Rockwell-ish. I love like all the little stuff here. There's so much going on, and it's so detailed. And I think paintings with people are more interesting to me. Like, look at how detailed the freaking soup can is. Like, that's wild. I love this. And then there's that cast shadow. There's like the fuzzy background. Like everything about this is so like stunning. Oh, like the detail on the horse, the detail in his face, despite how tight. Look at the veins in his hand. Horses are so hard. This one is it's a little flatter. Like there's less of, like it's a little bit more 2D-ish, like stylized. But there's so much going on that it doesn't matter. It still feels so real. I love the colors. Like the contrast, like the warm and like the rich tones in the foreground and then the background being like pastel-y. That's such an interesting like trend with these paintings. These are also some of my favorites. Like this, I think this side of the museum is my favorite. Like look at this. Look at the tape. Do you see it? It's the painted tape. Because it's supposed to be like a painting on a wall. It looks real. The beads. Insane. Like I feel like I love the landscapes. I love the scenery. It's so stunning. It's so beautiful. And the paintings of just the landscapes are just as good. But like, you still have the landscape with the story being told in front of it. And I love that. I feel like adding people adds like that extra element. Oh, look at how that's done. That is so beautiful. What is this on? Oh, look at this. It's so good. It's so pretty. What a fun angle too. I love this one. I will say for me, I miss having the detail. I want to like see their faces. Like I struggle to connect with it, but it conveys a lot of emotion for sure. All those colors. That is so wild. Like not even to mention their faces, like how stunning. The hands, oh my God. See, I love that level of detail. It's like kind of overwhelming when it's in the whole piece, but I love it. I love it. Like every inch of it is that detailed, except for like the very corners. Everyone uses masonite. I should look into masonite. like that it's smooth. Stunning. And another example of one, the dramatic lighting, which I'm loving, and two, I love having the landscape and the people both be important and both be, you know, features of the painting, highlights of the painting. I love the expressions on their faces, being able to see that much of their faces and the detail, but still like the scenery, the landscape behind them is just as much of the painting as they are. Oh my God, look at this hand. See how it's in shadow, so it's like almost entirely muted and lost? That's crazy. It looks like he probably thought there was too much going on here, because if you look, like this is a bit more wet than here. So to me, it looks like he painted it all and then he was like, okay, like there's way too much going on in the crotch area. And so he covered it up a little bit. It looks really, really cool. This is literally a perfect example of what I mean by like the landscape, the scenery is more interesting to me when there's figures, because like this adds to me so much storytelling and interest. And there's still so much detail in the landscape itself. And I love them both, but I think there's more storytelling when there's people. Okay, some of my favorite paintings are also in here. So cool. This is so stunning. I love the colors. And I love the eyes. I mean, you can like feel him looking at you. Oh, I didn't know that he was the most controversial Native American artist of his time. Look at that streak of yellow right there. Look, oh my God, okay. This right here, okay, and then this is crazy. Oh, and then the texture in the mountains above. I love the spots on the horses. Oh, look at the eyes. You know, another thing I feel like I've noticed about almost all of these paintings, because, you know, I'm looking for it, is that they all have a color palette. Like there are very few paintings that I look at and don't see a color palette, even if it's kind of like two color palettes, like the lights and then the darks, or the warms and the cools. But there's like, I mean, just look at all of these, like there's a color palette, you know what I mean? It's not just like any color you can think of. It's like it's all similar. Like, I don't know, I can see the color palette. What? This is like so much happening, which I love, but like, who's crazy enough to paint this many horses? This is insane. Oh my my God, his pants. Oh, he's bleeding. Oh my God, so cool. This is cool. This is the Buffalo Soldiers. Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice that at first. I love, okay, very Norman Rockwell, the way the people are painted. He's got like that red ruddy nose, which I love. I love the way I love the way the people are painted in a lot of these paintings. It's so expressionistic, but still realistic. Like I would definitely say it evokes a lot of Norman Rockwell to me. The slight stylization and exaggeration. And again, it's like we have so much detail of the landscape and the setting, the scenery. But having the people and the action tells so much more of a story. Look at his hat. Oh my God. There is such an obvious, like, you know what, I would dare say primary color palette. Not in every painting, like that is very blue and yellow, which is definitely a theme, but also like there's definitely a lot of the artists seem to enjoy a pop of red, or at the very least like a warm brown. So I kind of feel like in that painting you can kind of see it here where like the primary, you know what I mean, we've got these blues and purples, reddish, and then we've got like this yellowish. Like I think a lot of the paintings rely heavily on primaries, which is not, I mean, every painting does, but you know what I mean, the color palettes. Look at this. This is so Red Dead. Like, this makes me want to, if it weren't for the fact that history is not kind to most people, this makes me want to live here, this kind of painting. Oh my God, slay. Cowgirl. Everyone knows I love portraits, and this is why this is so stunning. The amount of detail and color and warmth, I mean, this is so stunning. The amount of detail, I mean, this feels like, the smoke is also insane. Like, this is the epitome of why I love portraits. I can't even put it into words, but it is so full of life and detail and color that it's actually heartbreaking. I mean, look at his hands. I mean, that's crazy. The highlight on his nose. I love this. I love their hands. Hands are drawing me in a lot, but also the expressions on their faces. It's so good. It's so yummy. I love this blue. That's so cool. And then like I love seeing the brush strokes. Like I love seeing like the defined lines in the, but it's still realistic, you know? So good. I wish I was better at doing hands. Because I really enjoy looking at them in paintings. I think they're important. This is what I want to make. I want to make art where you're so overwhelmed by all of it, right? There's so much going on and it's all so beautiful. And then you take a moment and you start looking at faces, and the delicacy and the beauty and like the emotion in each face gets you. Like, I mean, if, like even just the back of that, her face is so gorgeous. Her making eye contact with you, crazy, love it. Like every single face is so delicate and so beautiful. I love his face, and it adds so much. Like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. That's the kind of art I want to make. Maybe not yet. This is a lot. Now it's like I don't want to look away. I feel like it's a staring contest. Look at the doll. And look at the hands. I need to get better at hands. Hands are very clearly very important. Oh my God, that is so freaking fun. If that doesn't put you in the mood to make art, I don't know what will. That's funny. Women and Fish, my two loves. I hope they have a print of this because I need it. Oh, look, you can see there was attempt 1, then attempt 2. That is so fun. I think we're in the last leg of the museum that I want to see before we hit the wildlife, which is not what this is about. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, kind of soaking it all in. Is there anything else that I'm going to make note of for me? I feel like I've picked up a lot of great stuff. I've really absorbed a lot of beautiful artwork, and I think I've got some good nuggets here, but I want to make sure while I'm here if there's anything else that I want to make note of. The horses look complicated to paint. I don't think I want to paint a bunch of horses. Oh, you know what? I've been noticing composition a lot. So I think I'm gonna make some notes on that. Okay. Let's wrap it up.
I had such an amazing time at the James Museum. It was so much fun. And going to a museum specifically with the purpose of looking at art and being like, okay, what can I learn from this and what am I gonna take away, was actually so fun and so cool. I feel like I really connected with the art more and appreciated it more. I love Western art. I can tell you right now that I will not be doing any series on Western art. Not that I don't still absolutely love it and have an appreciation for it, but I think my biggest takeaway is that I really want to make art that is like from my life and from my experience and is meaningful to me. I think that's like one of the major things that I learned coming to this museum, is that I want to do stuff that I connect with. I don't think there's any sort of Western themed art that I can make that will be adding to a conversation. I don't think I will be bringing anything new to the table. Not because it's all been said already, but because I don't have any personal experience or firsthand knowledge or anything to contribute personally. I think all I would be able to do on this topic is regurgitate, and that's something that I already do in my art all the time, and so that's not what I want to be doing with this series. You know, the American West is something that I've only really seen in media, and it's definitely something that I find interesting, but I don't even have any of my own pictures of it. So there's nothing that I can make about it that wouldn't be from someone else's story told to me, you know what I mean? And honestly, I think that's enough. I think that is enough for someone to make art about something. I think having an appreciation and an interest is enough for someone to make art. But that's not what this series is about for me. I want this series to be something that is something that I can add to. I want it to be something that I can provide for. You know, I want to be creating something, not just replicating something. I want it to come from me. I want it to be personal. Again, I don't know what that means, but I know that I don't know anything about the West or Western art, and there's nothing I can make in that art that would be providing or creating. It would all be replicating. I want this series to be mine. I want it to feel like mine. I think that's like a huge thing that I learned, and although it doesn't seem like it is helping me, because I think it really will help narrow down topics. I think any future topic that I seem interested in or want to explore, I can ask myself, like, is this something that I can add to the conversation? And if not, then I know it's probably not something that I want to paint about. Oh, girl, the bugs are crazy. So I think even just with that alone, I think I've made major progress in coming here today. But I also do have notes that we're going to go through that are also super helpful. Okay, so first of all, I definitely noticed composition-wise, I really like surprisingly, a central composition. I definitely noticed that a lot of these paintings had a central focus and definitely like a traveling focus. So whether it was multiple faces that were in focus or action throughout the canvas. But I definitely like that. I liked having the point of focus being in the center, which is crazy. Some other things that I noticed that I really liked, I think I have decided, based on coming here, that I need to have people in the paintings. As much as I loved so many of the paintings, I definitely felt the most interested in and connected to the ones with faces. And you know, I've always said my bread and butter is portraiture, and I think I should stick true to that. I want to have people and faces in the paintings. I also noticed a huge theme of there being warm and cool, so warm lighting, cool shadows, and there was a lot of color and lighting going on in these paintings, and I really enjoyed that. So first of all, there was like rim lighting, which I thought was so fun and so cool. It always is, like everyone loves that, but it was so impactful in these pieces. There was also this theme of like there being a warm, lit, light, kind of pastel-y background, and then the foreground would be a lot darker, a lot more contrast, and it would be more cool toned, and I really enjoyed that. Lots of big like areas of contrast, loved it. And then all the paintings did have like some sort of sometimes broader color palette, and I think that was like, I had never noticed that, like going to a museum and looking around the entire gallery and realizing like, oh, every single painting here has a color palette, and recognizing that like really put it into perspective for me, like how important that is for a professional polished painting. So that's something that I definitely want to keep in mind. It's raining and my ink is running, oh no. I think I'm gonna have to say, based on my thoughts right now, I think I might be committing to oils, realism in oils, which is crazy. Oils is not something that I have a lot of experience with, but the way that I'm picturing, I don't know what I want to paint yet, but I'm picturing the process based on everything that I saw today. Everything I saw today that I loved is in oils. And I think I might have to do oils to achieve the look that I want. Visual clutter, that's something that I've noticed I really like before, and it doesn't even have to be items, just like the amount of stuff going on, the amount of detail going on, I really, really enjoyed. Storytelling throughout. I loved there being both scenery and landscape and people in a painting. I found that to be super, super impactful. Again, great storytelling there. It was really interesting to me, so that might be something that I want to consider. And then I also noticed there were a lot of paintings that caught my eye that had detail, like insane detail throughout the entire piece. And while I really enjoyed that, it was like kind of overwhelming. So I think my major takeaways is composition, color and lighting, people, realism, oils. So I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I really, really learned a lot this episode, and it feels really productive, and I'm really, really excited because I feel like I made some pretty big, realizations, I think. So I'm excited. That's it, you guys. That is it for this Exploring Creativity episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring. This has been such a wonderful journey, and I am so excited to continue. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye. Ugh.